drive 7 miles an hour down crowded streets in Miami while the driver looks around to make sure everyone notices him. I think of a car that's ridiculous, crazy looking, wildly styled, and, above all else, tremendously inconvenient to drive. When I think of a Lamborghini, I think of a car where driving experience is 38th on the list of things the engineers must consider, right after ample storage for obnoxious sunglasses. So I recently had the chance to drive a Lamborghini Huracan, and I don't think I've ever been more surprised by an automobile in my entire life. Here's how this happened. In every one of my videos where I drive someone else's car, I include a little notice asking people to email me if they have a cool car I can drive. So one guy emailed me and told me I could drive his Lamborghini Murcielago and his Lamborghini Huracan. When you get an email like this, you get very excited, and then you ask for some pictures to make sure the guy isn't actually an 11-year-old boy who guessed his dad's email password, and then you fly to wherever this person is located. So I flew down to Atlanta, where this guy was located, and I first drove the Murcielago. This was everything I've always expected from the Lamborghini experience. It had an amazing sound, ridiculous speed, hilarious styling, and also a harsh ride, difficult blind spots, a cramped cabin, challenging entry and exit, blah blah blah. It was the archetypal Lamborghini. Then I drove the Huracan, expecting about the same. I was wrong. I realized the Huracan wouldn't fit the Lamborghini stereotype from the moment I started driving it, because the steering was so quick. I know I say this approximately 47 times in the video, but it bears repeating 47 more times in this column, because it was just that quick. Seriously, it was amazing. You turned the wheel a quarter of an inch and you completely changed course. Totally insane. I've driven a lot of exotic cars, and I've never, ever, experienced steering quite like that. And then, connected to the steering, I discovered some truly unbelievable handling, no body roll, no excessive oversteer or understeer, no twitchiness or uncertain lightness like you sometimes experience in vehicles whose engines are located somewhere other than the front. Another thing I mentioned in the video that bears repeating, within just a few minutes of climbing behind the wheel of the Huracan, I already felt like I was one with the car, like I knew its exact limitations and capabilities. After an hour in the Murcielago, I still felt intimidated and uncomfortable, but just 5 minutes in the Huracan and I was already thinking I knew the perfect speed for every corner. Speaking of speed, the Huracan has a lot of it. The one I drove has 602 horsepower, 413 pounds-to-foot of torque, and, most importantly, Lamborghini's first dual-clutch transmission, which fires off upshifts with blazing speed. The thing does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, but I swear the rate of acceleration actually seems to increase as you get faster. I know this can't be true. It isn't true. It feels true. And then there's the rest of the Huracan. I love how it looks. Some people won't. Most people will. Styling is subjective. Less subjective, however, is the interior. The Huracan's interior quality is immensely improved from that of every single other Lamborghini that came before it. Everything feels tremendously well built, well made and well screwed together. I once drove a 1980s Lamborghini Jalpa, and all the switchgear felt approximately as sturdy as a safety pin. In the Huracan, you feel like you could use the shift paddles as a weapon to ward off home invaders. And the layout is gorgeous, too. Although there are a few gimmicks designed to make the driver feel cool, like the fighter jet style cover over the starter button, mostly, the cabin is just full of well-placed switches, easy-to-read gauges and modern controls. My personal favorite is the turn signal switch on the steering wheel. But can we get back to the steering? I mean, seriously. When I get inside a Lamborghini, I'm thinking it'll be brash, and brutal, and loud, and wide, and the best thing about driving it will be when I'm finally parking it at the end of the day. The Huracan is different. It handles like a Lotus with more power, but it also feels as sturdy as an Audi A8, only far, far, far more agile. It's one of the best cars I've driven this year, and it's one of the best cars I've driven in my entire life. Some supercars fail to meet expectations, but this one doesn't just meet them, it meets expectations, it exceeds expectations, and then it forces you to craft new expectations for its competitors. Most importantly, it's worth every bit of that $250,000 sticker price. Doug DeMuro is an automotive journalist who has written for many online and magazine publications. He once owned a Nissan Cube and a Ferrari 360 Modena. At the same time,